Good evening and a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here on Hope TV Newswatch on this 4th day of October 2022. So glad you could make time for us to bring you up to speed with the stories making headlines. My name is Grace WANGUI and our sign language interpreter tonight is Elizabeth Wanjiku. Let's begin. Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has declared the Kenya Kwanza Alliance as a majority party in the Senate, while Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as a minority party. Speaking during the first plenary sitting of the Senate, where the senators approved of the members to serve in the Senate Business Committee that oversees the implementation of the Senate business and legislative programs and adjusts the Senate calendar, Speaker Kingi officially announced Kericho Senator Aaron Cheruiyot as a Senate Majority Leader who will be deputized by his Nakuru counterpart Abida Karanja. Speaker Kingi also announced Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo as minority leader who will be deputized by Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, earlier on in the day there were fierce tussle between the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance in the National Assembly as both sides claimed to be the majority in the House. Speaker Moses Wetangula, who was expected to settle the matter during the House first sitting, said he will use the session to get the MP's view on the conundrum before retreating to make a decision.
The Senate on Tuesday convened its first plenary session, where the Senate Speaker Amason Kingi declared the Kenya Kwanza Alliance as the majority party in the Senate, while Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as the minority party. Speaking during the first plenary sitting of the Senate, Speaker Kingi officially announced Kericho Senator Aaron Cheruiyot as the Senate Majority Leader, who will be deputized by his Nakuru counterpart Abida Karanja. Speaker Kingi also announced Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo as the minority leader, who will be deputized by Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua. Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale will serve as the majority whip, who will be deputized by Samburu's Ltembesi Lelegwe as the deputy majority whip. On the other hand, Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo will serve as minority whip and will be deputized by Narok Senator Ledama Olekina as the deputy minority whip. Earlier on in the day, there was fierce tussle between the Azimio and Kenya Kwanza in the National Assembly, as both sides claimed to be the majority in the House. Speaker Moses Wetangula, who was expected to settle the matter during the House first sitting, said he will use the session to get MP's view on the conundrum before retreating to make a decision.
We are going to have elections in 2027. A president might be elected who is going to have less numbers in the National Assembly. Then he wants to force people to accept that he is the majority party in Parliament because he's the president. No, the presidential election is separate from the parliamentary election, Mr. Speaker. People can be elected in one party, in one coalition, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let us not mutilate democracy on the floor of this House.
Honorable Speaker, we must then ask ourselves the question, is the Azimio One Kenya Alliance Coalition political party a party? Is it a parliamentary political party? And the straight answer, Honorable Speaker, is that Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party does not exist as a parliamentary political party.
Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kennedy, for that report. Moving on, the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula will give a detailed ruling touching on issues raised by members of the National Assembly concerning the coalition with the majority elected members of Parliament on Thursday, 6 October 2022. Wetangula announced this while adjourning the first session of the third Parliament. Earlier in the day, members of Parliament were locked in heated debate as to which of their coalitions had the most numbers, a battle that will see the appointment of the majority and minority leaders of the August House.
So there is no requirement the leader of a coalition must be in this House, Mr. Speaker. The leader of the coalition can sit anywhere in town so long as his troops and his members of Parliament are in this House, Mr. Speaker. You cannot then let us have the president here sitting with us, Mr. Speaker, as the leader of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we don't want even ourselves as Azimio la Umoja to be given a due advantage, Mr. Speaker. If we had less numbers, Mr. Speaker, the will of the people, these parties that joined Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, Mr. Speaker, came knowing very well that they are in this coalition in their rightful state of mind, Mr. Speaker, and the people who elected them.
Of ODM, members of Jubilee, therefore, those members of KANU, members of ODM, members of Jubilee are all members of Azimio la Umoja as a corporate entity. The moment you are a member of ODM, by extension, you are also a member of Azimio la Umoja political party.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable John Buddy might be slightly older than me, but I was slightly ahead of him in the profession. I qualified as a CPA when I was in my first year at the University of Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, I was saying in the law of contract, you know any agreement that is obtained either under duress or with the concealment of material facts, that agreement cannot stand in law. Therefore, our brothers in the One Kenya coalition, I am sorry. And I am sorry to you. And I'm sorry to the Kenyan people because we created this mess right on this floor.
No member has veered off the beaten track. You have all treated each other with absolute dignity. And going forward, this is how we should conduct ourselves, even in most animated situations. Respect for our standing orders is sacrosanct. I will consider the matters that we have prosecuted before the House, and I'll give you a reasoned ruling touching on the facts, the jurisprudence, the constitutionality of the issues, and any other matters that we conversed on Thursday, the 6th of October, 2022 at 2:30. Honorable members, it is now 7 p.m. and the House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 5th October, 2022 at 9:30 a.m.
President William Ruto says his government will re-evaluate the country's budget to manage the ballooning public debt. Speaking in Nyeri on Tuesday during the burial service of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's elder brother Jackson Reriani Gachagua, Ruto expressed concern that the country's national debt was standing at 10 trillion shillings, saying efforts must be done to reverse the trend. He called on legislators to support the budget cuts proposals that will be submitted to Parliament in due course.
Ile budget tuko nayo sasa inatufanya tukope karibu shilingi bilioni 900. Na hiyo kukopa lazima tuanze kuipunguza kwa sababu tunaweka madeni makubwa kwa wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya na hasa kwa wale ambao watafuata baadaye. Lazima tuanze safari ya kupunguza madeni kwa Wakenya. Saa hizi deni la Kenya limefika karibu trilioni 10. Na ndio mimi nimesema juzi budget hii tuliyo nayo nataka kwanza tupunguze bilioni 300. Tuondoe zile vitu ambazo zinaweza kungoja, ili tupange kwanza tukamilishe barabara ambazo zimeanzishwa, tukamilishe mambo ya maji ambayo imeanzishwa, tukamilishe zile vitu ambazo zitatusaidia, na pia tuweke pesa katika mambo ya kilimo ili tuweze kuzalisha chakula, tupunguze hii gharama ya maisha. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka tushirikiane. Kuna sheria tutapeleka bunge. Mimi nawaomba wabunge wetu kutoka pande zote, tuko na jukumu ya kupeleka taifa letu mbele. Nawaomba pia wale walio katika judiciary watusaidie ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba ile mipango yote ambayo inasaidia kupeleka taifa letu mbele lisiwekwe vikwazo na watu ambao wako na nia mbaya. Tunataka, we want to grow our country together. The executive has a role to play, the legislature has a role to play, the judiciary has a role to play. We must harmonize so that we can deliver prosperity to every Kenyan and make sure that our country moves to the next level.
Habitat for Humanity on Monday hosted international and local leaders in a volunteer construction event for vulnerable families in Machakos County. The first Monday in October is celebrated as the World Habitat Day, which aims at promoting the idea that everyone deserves a decent place to live in. The Machakos event in Kiumbi area saw leaders and staff of Habitat for Humanity participate in actual construction activities of 2 houses for 2 families who lived with their children in a particular house. Dolly Murigimbuvi attended the function and filed this report.
Habitat for Humanity Kenya, which has been in existence for 40 years, since 1982, has continued with its operation in the country with a vision of a country where citizens have a decent place to live. The event also marked the climax of the 40 at 40 campaign, which was launched in March 2022 to celebrate Habitat for Humanity's Kenya's 40th anniversary. The campaign aimed at constructing 40 houses for low-income and vulnerable families, with each house representing a year of Habitat for Humanity Kenya's work and presence in Kenya. To celebrate this year's World Habitat Day, Habitat for Humanity Kenya held volunteer-built events in Chumbi area in Machakos County, Naibor in Laikipia County, and Rangwe in Homa Bay County, with volunteers drawn from corporate organizations, partners, and well-wishers who came together to contribute their time, energy, labor, and resources to construct houses for low-income and vulnerable families.
As a university, we do encourage both our staff and students to participate in programs that make them appreciate the needs of society. For example, our students, all of them, have to undertake a program which takes them 225 hours to go through. And this program exposes them, let's say, participating in hospitals, schools, and a program like this one, so that they are able to know what are the needs of the community.
The recent announcement by President William Ruto towards constructing of 250,000 units annually is timely towards bringing the housing gap. This commitment will need policy implementation, budgetary allocations, and alignment of the country's government plans to the national plans. However, the state has been urged to create an enabling environment for aspiring homeowners, investors, and developers to promote adequate and affordable housing.
Anybody who would want to support us in these initiatives, you are welcome, because we actually raise money from individuals just like me here. A stone, like I said, is just costing 35 shillings. And this is something that you can say, I'm just buying a stone for a house. A home needs about 930 stones. A mabati is just costing something like 800, and a home needs about 35 mabatis. So you can contribute alone, you can combine with friends.
One of the families who benefited from the program could not hide the joy, as the program has lifted them to a new phase of life. They were in dire need of a new house.
Mimi nimeshukuru kwa hii mradi kwa sababu imetusaidia sana. Haki kusema ukweli, mahali imetutoa, mimi hatungeweza. Tulikuwa tunalala kwa nyumba mbaya, na Mungu akatuchagua tu tukawa wamoja kwa wale tunajengewa.
Mali nilikuwa sikuwa na nguvu ya kujitoa, na vile wamenifanyia nasema ni asante. Tena tunasema ni asante kwa Mungu kwa kuwa ni nguvu yake, sio nguvu zangu ama za mtu, ni uwezo wa Mungu.
In partnership with collaborators, donors, volunteers, and other well-wishers, funds were mobilized for the construction of 74 houses. The cost of constructing one house is approximately 850,000 Kenya shillings. So far, 19 houses have been successfully constructed, and the construction of the remaining houses is on the pipeline.
This is just Habitat as an NGO. What would happen if all other NGOs were also mobilizing the same? What would happen if individuals were also contributing? This gap that we are speaking about, 3 million homes, will be gone. So let's take advantage of the new governments who are committed, and they are welcoming the goal of ensuring that Kenyans have affordable homes.
Dolly Murigimbuvi, Hope TV.
Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Now, just days after President William Ruto announced his cabinet, the Association of Women Leaders in the country, Kewala, has asked the president to fulfill his promise to appoint 50% of women in his cabinet. Led by the chairperson, Rose Molwa, and Secretary Damaris Stowe, who is also the leader of the Accord Party, the association congratulated all the female leaders who were elected or appointed in various positions after the August 9th election. They noted there is need for more women to be in a leadership space.
We are proud of the milestones that the country has made that has seen more women governors elected in Meru, elected in Nakuru, elected in Machakos, elected in Kwale, elected in Homa Bay, and Embu and Kirinyaga. We also want to congratulate the women deputy governors who are elected in different counties, and we wish them the very best as they take their roles.
Kwa nafasi hii kuweza kumshukuru rais kwa kuweza kuwachagua wanawake kuwakilisha katika baraza la mawaziri, na tunamkumbusha kwamba katika ahadi zake alizokuwa amesema wakati ule wa kampeni ni kwamba ingepatia wanawake 50%. Bado kuna viti mbalimbali ambapo wanawake wanaweza kupewa nafasi hiyo. Kwa hivyo sisi ni kumkumbusha tu, tutatarajia kwamba kuona wanawake wengi wakiwakilisha nchi hii yetu ya Kenya. Na kwa wale wanawake wote waliopata fursa kuweza kuwakilisha nchi yetu ya Kenya katika nafasi mbalimbali, sisi tunaomba wafanye kazi nzuri ili wanawake wote ambao wamesimama hivi sasa kuweza kupewa nafasi wakati wa miaka ijayo, ikiwa ni mwaka 27, mwaka 32, waweze kuwaona kama mfano mkuu.
Have chapters in every county. We want to devolve this leadership all the way to the ward level so that the woman at the ward is part of this. So I want to assure every woman in Kenya, it is our time, and as my colleagues have said, the 2/3 gender rule, the 2/3 involvement or inclusive. We are requesting our able president, who has got such a love for women by what he has done already. We have heard how many CSS have been nominated. We have heard the governors, the senators, the MPs and the MCS. This one is going just to move from glory to glory because he's a man of God, and with people of God, they say we don't move from glory to shame. We move from glory to glory.
Let's do one more story before we go on our fast break here on Hope TV Newswatch. Siaya Governor James Orengo has placed County Secretary Joseph Ogutu and all county chief officers on mandatory leave. This even as the governor officially unveiled a 7-member task force to conduct a forensic audit of the county's financial operations. The move to put the officers on mandatory leave is intended to give the appointed task force charged with conducting a forensic audit of the county's financial operations enough time to complete its work. On Friday last week, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, said county officials in Siaya withdrew 400 million shillings from county coffers in a series of suspicious withdrawals.
Within a fortnight or so after the deputy governor and I assumed office, we found the state of finances in Siaya County deplorable, both in terms of financial management and fiscal reporting. We were confronted with what looked like outright embezzlement and wastage of county funds and lack of prudence in the use of public money. We had no alternative but to take immediate steps by stopping payment of pending bills. And they have told that on the issue of pending bills, this did not affect essential services, statutory deductions, and other payments that were necessary for the smooth running of the county government. Secondly, I also want to plead with the people of Siaya that me as James Orengo, and I want to give you this assurance, and people can play all the propaganda and play to the gallery. I am not going to leave any action from being taken if I deem that action to be in the public interest. I want to assure you that we want to make sure CIM moves forward by making the process of government an enabler towards service delivery instead of it being a hindrance to service delivery. I therefore wish to give the following directives. Number one, the county secretary and all the county chief officers are ordered to proceed on compulsory leave with immediate effect. Two, all acting officers are ordered to resume their substantive offices with immediate effect unless directed to act in the said offices by me in writing. Number three, all the officers sent on compulsory leave will make themselves available whenever they are required by the task force and the county government and the state agencies dealing with this matter. Number four, all the 10 departmental accountants have been transferred to other departments or given other assignments. Number five, all the 10 departmental procurement officers have been transferred to other departments or given other assignments. Number six, the finance department has been overhauled and major changes made which take immediate effect.
Let's now go for a fast break here on Hope TV Newswatch. We'll be back with more stories. Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. A section of university students drawn from Embu County Campus Students Association has called on the national and county governments to take a stern action against Embu residents who are still exposing girls to female genital mutilation (FGM). The students added that despite the FGM Act of 2011 stipulating out the punishments that an individual risks facing if found engaging in the act, many parents still overlook the said punishments and proceed to expose their daughters to FGM.
Most of the girls, when they are among the other girls who have not gone under FGM, they have low self-esteem to express themselves before the other people. And even when these people are going out for marriage, these people fear to tell these boys that have undergone under FGM. Because most of the guys, when they realize that, most of the men, they will leave you.
We would like to really call upon for some action on FGM. As you know, FGM is rampant in our counties, and according to statistics, Embu is among the leading counties in Kenya where FGM is being practiced. And you all know, those who've interacted with these activities, FGM will keep on either lowering the self-esteem of the ladies, and again they will make these students drop out of school, because at some point when FGM is practiced, these people either they are damaged in some way, others will find they can't even concentrate in schools. So we ask the government of Kenya, in collaboration with the county government of Embu, to take action in those areas where FGM is practiced. Again, we ask for sensitization for the people in the localities to know that FGM is bad, to be sensitized on the disadvantages of having FGM in our counties. At the end of the day, a county or a country without an woman, I don't think that we can all have a county where there are no women. So we need these women to be heard, and we need an action to be taken. There are some people who don't have this information. They should know, and it will be known through the sensitization process from our county and from our government.
AMREF has today officially launched a strategic report on health security in the world after the COVID-19 pandemic through a study that was done in conjunction with the Ministry of Health. Dr. Simon Kibias, who was speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Health, Director General Patrick Amoth, noted that the government has shown its commitment to strengthen the evaluation of the effectiveness of medical products and health technology. Kibias said that it was the responsibility of the Ministry of Health to put in place any preventative measures and to introduce medical equipment that will help prepare for future pandemics.
The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life globally and continues to present unprecedented challenges to public health, food systems, and the achievement of sustainable development goals in general. It has been a powerful demonstration that when health is at risk, everything is at risk, and that there is no global security without local health security. Therefore, immediate and purposeful action to enhance preparedness and progress towards universal health coverage based on foundation of primary health care is more urgent than ever. I strongly believe, as part of the support systems within the Ministry of Health, we shall continue to work with our partners, all stakeholders, to ensure that we invest in the resilient building activities so that our system, our health system, remains resilient, because the best time to prevent the next pandemic is now.
The church has been challenged to take its position in spiritual guidance and overseeing the county and national governments in the operations across the country. Mbeere North Member of Parliament Geoffrey Kiringa has said the church has a critical role in the operations and service delivery of any government. Speaking after taking over the constituency leadership at NGCDF offices in Siakago town, Kiringa said he had injected fresh blood at the constituency level by appointing youths to deliver on his promises.
Kauna miaka ambayo iko karibu inaendelea, msimamo yake ni kuwa ikai mbali sana na uongozi na pia na viongozi, kwa sababu hii dunia ni ya Mungu na watu ni wa Mungu, na uongozi mbaya unaonekana wakati kanisa na kamba. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa karibu kuwabariki, kuwaombea ili performance iwe mzuri, lakini tena kuwakosoa.
Katika komiti ya oversight ili tuweze kuwa mambo yote ambayo tunatengeneza hapa kwetu Mbeere North tuweke katika mbele ya Mungu. Tuko na wachungaji wengi ambao wamejipeana kwa kutumikia wananchi wa Mbeere North, na tunataka tufanye kazi pamoja na wao. Au tutawauliza wakuwe katika ile kamati ya oversight ili watusaidie kwa maombi, watusaidie kwa kazi.
Now to some international news. A delegation from the West African regional body, ECOWAS, has arrived in Burkina Faso and is due to meet the country's new military leader, Ibrahim Traore. The arrival of ECOWAS comes days after they praised various parties for agreeing to peacefully settle their differences. The regional body is expected to urge the new leader to stick to earlier proposals to hold elections by mid-2024. Traore seized power on Friday in the country's second coup this year, which was triggered by rising insecurity with multiple attacks by Islamist militants.
On Hope Junction, every Saturday, get to enjoy songs that cater to the young and young at heart. Let the beat keep your head nodding.
Right now, but your love is amazing.
That's every Saturday on Hope Junction. From 10 a.m.
Now to our business news. CIC Group has launched a medical product tailor-made for cooperatives named CopCare. The cover will cater to cooperative members and their affiliates with a minimum membership of 10 principal members, with the maximum joining age being 70 years. The product will cover inpatient, outpatient, maternity, dental, optical, and the last expense for cooperative members within Kenya. CIC Group Chief Executive Officer Patrick Nyaga said that in an ecosystem that is highly dependent on cooperatives, it is prudent to provide solutions that extend financial protection to members by reducing their exposure to risk in different facets, including healthcare. CopCare will cover inpatient, outpatient, maternity, dental, optical, and last expense benefits.
Without talking about the cooperative movement, over the years, cooperative movement has significantly contributed towards access to formal financial services in the country. Through cooperatives, members have been able to educate their children, invest in real estate, purchase assets, and cater for many other emergencies and other needs. Now, some of these emergencies, and I think which have been quite heavy, is healthcare. And this, of course, poses a big challenge to the cooperators and even to our other customers. In response to this, and in line with our strategy to offer simple, flexible insurance products, that is specifically built around our customer needs.
We'll share a link with your members, and they will go to the CIC website, they will click in, and they will complete their own details. And they will then also key in their cooperative membership number. So as the members do this, then our technology is able to collate this information to the contact. If it's, for example, the SACCO administrator, they will keep getting notifications, and a list which summarizes all this information into a good summary of the members that have applied, their dependents, and all that. And then they will tell you your premiums payable is XYZ. Are you paying cash, or are we advancing you a loan, and all that.
The Kenya Ports Authority has increased its electronic seals for cargo tracking in anticipation for increased activities at the Port of Mombasa. KRA Southern Region Coordinator Joseph Tanui said they have increased the number of seals from about 8,000 to 14,400. Tanui said that KRA has also developed an online system for allocating the seals, moving away from the manual process, which he said was prone to corruption. The KRA Southern Region contributes about 30% of the national taxes, mostly through the Port of Mombasa, and has been surpassing their targets in the last 2 financial years.
Of course, for our transit goods, we have the electronic cargo tracking system, which is not a Kenyan system. It's for all the countries within the region. And the issue is to monitor trade across the corridor. If it's going to Uganda, it's a digital system where we can be able to view the trucks on their journey to the destination. And in case if they deviate from the normal routes, then we are able to flag it out and take an enforcement action. Because if goods are dumped in our country and they were meant for Uganda, then we are losing taxes for our country. And it brings a lot of trade imbalance. So on that area, we are doing quite well. There was some challenge in terms of the number of seals, which was causing a bit of some delay. But we've been able to add the number of seals. So the seals were a problem. I think we used to have about 8. Now we've moved to 14,000. And we've also developed a system for allocating the seals, so that we want to move away from the manual processes, which are prone to corruption.
Now for some sports news, Leicester secured their first win of the season as they hammered Nottingham Forest to dump their local rivals on the bottom of the Premier League and pile the pressure on manager Steve Cooper. James Maddison scored twice and created another for substitute Patson Daka, with Harvey Baines calling home a superb effort as Brendan Rodgers' side recorded their biggest home win since December. For Forest, this first top flight East Midlands derby since 1999 was a night to forget. Guinea have been stripped of the right to host the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations finals by the Confederation of African Football, and the bidding for the tournament is set to be reopened on Saturday. This follows a meeting in Conakry between Guinea's interim president, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, and the president of African Football's governing body, Patrice Motsepe, to discuss the withdrawal after the West African country said it was not ready to host the 24-nation tournament. And that sports news brings us to the end of this live broadcast. Many thanks for keeping me company. My name is Grace Ongoi, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Elizabeth Wanjiku. Good night.